Nobody ever thought their way to success. Nobody ever hoped their way to success. Nobody ever wrote goals on a planner to success. They acted. Action is what attracts. It's the action. It's the movement. Every person has a change the world speech inside of them. It's inside of you. Every one of you have a message. Every one of you have a dream. And my hope is that today you'll begin to express that dream better than you ever have, because people need to hear your story. People need to see your vision. And when you learn to communicate, you pass it on to others, and you help so many people make a difference in the world. So let your dream come out and learn how to communicate it with excellence. Thank you very much. My name is John. I'm your friend. Thank you.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Ayim, and as usual, you are warmly welcome to our best part of the week, which is a Saturday night, where we get together to learn about our personal growth and about leadership. Today, we are having a very special session, and so we encourage you to share the link with your friends, share with your family, your colleagues, your bosses, your subordinates, everybody who cares about personal growth and about leadership, and invite them to the platform and let us learn together. Also, if you're connected, please let us know about it. Share your location, tell us your name and where you are joining from. We know that many of you connect and you don't show your faces, but it is our pride and honor to tell the whole world that you are on the platform. So we will be happy to introduce you to the world. I see William Darfur from Tema is here. I see David Ewuntuma is also here. He says, good evening. Great to join. Now, please, those of you who have introduced yourself, go ahead. You can join from Facebook. You can join from LinkedIn. You can join from YouTube. We've shared the links. And so please, wherever you are, introduce yourself and we would announce you to the world. All right. So this evening, as I said, we have a very special session. This is our last Saturday before LIVE2LEAD. LIVE2LEAD is on October 6th, Friday, October 6th, and all roads leads to the auditorium of EcoBank Ghana in their Plush headquarters building and you are all very welcome. So many organizations are already registering, individuals are registering. This is the last week. So if you haven't registered already, we encourage you to register and be part of Live to Lead. This is the 7th year that CTL Africa is hosting this event in Ghana. And as always, we'll have our John Maxwell certified coaches in Ghana who have also partnered with us to be able to bring this to you. Live to Lead keeps growing. So this evening, what we are going to do is that we're going to bring the John Maxwell coaches who are partnering with CTL Africa to bring this Live to Lead to you. And we're going to have a chat around why are they doing, spending their time and resources to bring Live to Lead to Ghana. Why is it important for them? Why couldn't they just sit in their corners and do what, is easy for them? And so we're going to have a quick chat, and the people who are going to come are people that you know already. So I'm just going to bring them, and as they go ahead, they will tell us a bit more about themselves. I have already connected. I have Sarah Jessia Pia. She doesn't need any introduction. So Sarah, you are welcome to the leadership platform. We know Sarah is joining us all the way from Geneva, Switzerland, and she always, every weekend, she's with us on the leadership platform. So we appreciate her. She's a coach, an executive coach certified by so many organizations, and she's been doing quite a lot of work for UN staff in Geneva and others across the world. We also have my friend, Dr. Yao Pebi, is with us on the platform. Dr. Pebi also needs no introduction. He's been on this platform several times. Every time he comes, we know the fire in his heart, in his stomach, and he pours it to us, not only to us, but to the whole nation. Doc is an amazing, amazing friend and personality, doing so much for God and doing so much for nation and for Africa. Doc, thank you so much for joining. We also have my sister, Reverend Mrs. Doris Ahiati. Hey, my sister, how are you? My good friend, and she's here. She's doing so many things. She's taking upon herself to ensure that people are financially intelligent, okay? Financially intelligent so that they can manage their finances and resources. If you don't have money, Charlie, the family itself doesn't care about you. Nobody calls you to the family meeting, but it's all about how you manage your money. And these are all John Maxwell certified coaches, and they are also certified in other domains, and they have taken leadership to different levels in their own domains, in their own respective area. Doc is a doctor by profession, but he's taking the word of God like nobody else and writing and doing great things for the Lord. So I just want to welcome all of you. We will be joined by Emmeline. When she comes in, we would introduce her to you. I see Doris has challenge with her internet, but we will start. I'll start with Doc. Doc, I'll start with you. And, you were hosting Live to Lead in Canada before you finally turned to returning. You came back to Ghana and you never gave up. You joined us last year. This year, you're joining us. What is your motivation in hosting Live to Lead? Why do you have to spend your time? What is your motivation? Share with our audience.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sam and Sarah. And I must commend you for the incredibly good work you're doing for God and country. I must commend you for your consistency. Every week you are doing this leadership platform, and every year you're hosting Live to Lead, and it's very encouraging. And so God bless you for that. And only time will tell, the full impact of what you're doing. Some of it you may not even see in your lifetime, but we'll see the fruits thereafter. Why am I investing time and energy and resources to organize Live to Lead together with you guys? Well, you've heard me say several times, and I will repeat, because sometimes it's repetition that helps people to get a point. First of all, I do sincerely believe that everything rises and falls on leadership. It's not just a nice sounding string of words, and it's not just something that you say that leadership experts say to keep them in business. No, everything does rise and fall on leadership. If my family is great, it's because of great leadership. If it's not, it's because of bad leadership. If my community, I was driving home today, and just the potholes, and I was wondering, do we have, a communal? Could you have communal leadership? If a nation is great, it's because of great leadership. If it's not, it's because of bad leadership. So I really do believe that, and it's been borne out by professional groups that I've been part of, including the medical fraternity. And you see how someone is an excellent surgeon, but runs down a hospital, because the fact that you are a good surgeon doesn't mean that you are a good leader. We've seen it happen with, recently we launched something called the Pan-African International Students. And we're talking about how almost every one of our presidents and prime ministers, etc., are, former international students. But they go and learn technical stuff. So whether it's accounting or law or diplomacy or whatever, but if you don't learn leadership, you come back, you can't even head a department, let alone lead a government agency or a ministry, of government. So everything does rise and fall on leadership. And so that is my motivation for this. The other thing related to that is I find it distressing that if everything rises and falls on leadership, and leadership is so important, why is it that we spend so much time studying medicine, studying law, all right, studying accounting, name it, but we don't spend quality time studying leadership? It beats my mind that, no matter how many mistakes I make as a doctor, all right, I can, God forbid, kill one person at a time. Yet I need a license to practice medicine. Same thing with a lawyer. But when it comes to leadership, I can wreck a whole nation. And yet I don't need any lessons on it, and I don't need a license. There's something really wrong with that. And so for me, this Live to Lead is one opportunity we can give people to learn leadership, because again, leadership is taught. It's not just caught. There's some things you can catch, but a lot of leadership must be taught. And these are my reasons why we move heaven and earth and gather resources to make sure that Live to Lead happens, to bring it close to the people, so that people don't have to go to Harvard or have to go to Yale or anything like that to be able to learn the things that they need to be able to make impact.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Doc. Thank you so much. Indeed, everything rises and falls on leadership. Sarah, the same question to you. You've been with leadership, Live to Lead for, I think this will be your sixth year. This is the 7th year we are doing. I think you joined us at the 2nd year. And so you've been part of this. And every year you are with us, even though you're far away. What is your motivation? What keeps you going to support Live to Lead?
Thank you, Sam. And it's great to see all my peer coaches here on the call, joining us this year to really bring Live to Lead to Ghana. So what is my motivation in really associating with you to bring Live to Lead to Ghana? Actually, I started Live to Lead the very first year that the John Maxwell team started in Switzerland. And I ran it for a year, and then afterwards I joined Sam in Ghana. Why did I join the Ghana one? Because I am in the autumn of my life, and my goal was to relocate to my home country. So when I met Sam in Orlando, I did kidnap him to another event that was in Ohio, because he was leading transformation to make sure that he gets all the training that he needed. And because I did that, he was a little bit late in organizing Leave to Lead in Ghana. So to compensate him, I decided to come down to Ghana and join hands, hands with him to make sure that my country got the best that they deserved. So also, Yao did talk about everything rises and falls on leadership. And this is what I have even seen in my career, even in the UN for the past, I will say, over 4 decades now. And I saw that even on the international scene, this is also true, it's everywhere. However, being a person of faith, what really pushes me is the fact that even in the book of Genesis, when God created us, He gave us the dominion to lead. So innately, we have this potential for us to lead. And for me as a coach, this potential is what I help people that I work with to unearth that diamond that God has already placed in us. We have it. It's just for us, as Yah was saying, that you have to be taught. It's just for us to sharpen that saw, to bring it out and make everybody shine like a diamond, because that is who we are. God has placed this in us. And also, being a person of faith, the Great Commission says we should go out and multiply. So for me, coming to Ghana is to help multiply the leaders who are already in the country. They just need a little bit of push. That's why I'm putting my resources behind to bring this to my nation. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Sarah. Thank you. We really appreciate you, and we thank you for the support you give us. Now, my sister Doris, I remember I think it's the first Live to Lead or something when we held it, and at the College of Physicians. I remember I met you and your husband and other members of your church who joined Live to Lead, and we are happy you continue to support us. And this year you're even increasing the support. So thank you so much for helping us. What is your own side? What is your motivation?
Thank you very much, Coach Sam, and good evening to my colleagues on the call, Coach Sarah and Coach Dr. Yao Pepe. Good evening as well to our audience. I want to re-echo, I think, quotations that have come so far on leadership, highlighting and emphasizing the important role that leadership plays in the quality of life that any group of people would enjoy. And so for me, knowing that leadership is cause and everything else being effect, I believe that Ghanaians, and for that matter, the people of the world deserve better. Deserving better in the sense of the quality of life that they are enjoying. Today, if you go to the streets of Ghana, there are many people that are mourning and crying. There are many of these people mourning and crying who are looking for a Messiah to come to their rescue. There are those that feel disappointed, those that feel let down. And I also recently returned from a trip, and while picking bags from the carousel, I'm looking at the scene, the kind of people around the belt, and I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be some opportunities right here that is drawing all these people in. And so why are my sisters and brothers crying and moaning as though there is nothing they can do? So for me, joining hands with you and my colleagues for us to promote and advance the cause of leadership in Ghana is so that we can empower the people in the country, so that people appreciate the fact that they have the power to chart a course for themselves, that they have the power to contribute, that everybody has something to give, that everyone can make a difference so that people don't feel so helpless and sit down expecting someone to be giving them the proverbial fish, as opposed to learning how to catch the fish themselves. This has been my motivation, and I'm looking forward to the days ahead when we'll have more people appreciate what leadership really means. By extension, when you take it to the bigger level, I believe that the caliber of people, especially the generations after us, are going to also determine the kind of even the political leadership that we have and how accountable they may be, and also the confidence with which the people in the country are able to hold these leaders to account. These are all the thoughts that energize and inspire me to contribute. You look in the area of parenting. If you think you don't have anything to contribute, how are you raising your children who tomorrow are going to be the leaders in the community? Ourselves, when it comes to individual self-leadership, what kind of qualities, virtues, values are we eschewing? Do we demonstrate when we relate with others, when we are given opportunities to serve? Even when it comes to how we use our time, how accountable are we to ourselves with regards to how we are using our time? So all these make me think that joining hands with the leadership platform and the other John Maxwell coaches will be able to make a difference. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I will continue with you, Doris, and come to the rest of you. All of us are leading in our different areas. We see in our society, in organizations, and especially at the national level, where people are fighting to be leaders. And sometimes you wonder the amount of resources that people are putting to become MPs and the lobbying that people are going through. Recently, we saw on our televisions how even the police service, people are lobbying to become, IGP. I mean, people are fighting for positions. Now, you are leading in different areas, starting with you, Doris. First of all, why do you lead? And in a broader sense, the question is, why should people be fighting so hard for leadership positions? What should be the true motivation for people to lead? Because we have all this fight and all the money spent, and as Doc was saying, and you said, you see the potholes, we see all around us. We don't see much. So why should people really be taking the mantle for leadership? Starting with your own self.
Thank you very much. I think that one, we should take that responsibility. I always call it a responsibility. And indeed, I was laughing when you were giving that background because, Papa John in the 5 levels of leadership talks about the positional leadership, which is actually just the first rung on the ladder of leadership. However, that tends to be the one that people actually fight for. And I think it is when people feel they can use that title of their position as a trump card to command and to direct and to control, and oftentimes lord it over people. And the interesting thing, as we all know, at that positional leadership is that you don't command any influence. People will not bend over for you. They are merely doing the little bits that they are required, obligated to deliver because you are in that position. And it's very fleeting. Whereas I believe when we talk about leadership and the kind of leadership that I am attracted and drawn to, actually tends to be what Papa John has been promoting for decades before it became popular. And that is the servant kind of leadership. The leader that is interested in advancing the cause of the masses, that is seeking the interest, the welfare, the benefit of the people that they are leading. And so more or less, this kind of leader may not necessarily be in the limelight or at the forefront, and yet is creating a certain difference, is through their influencing, getting people to take actions and contribute initiatives that inure at the end of the day to the benefit of the wider public to a greater number of people than to themselves. Now, where we have that myopic view, or we've made the mistake to think that as a leader, I have to be carried maybe in a palanquin.
Yeah.
As a leader, everybody has to bring me what they have. I have to eat the choicest part of the meat. When you have this misconception about leadership, then you might want to fight in order to be given a certain, oftentimes positional leadership. So you might be able to amass these benefits for yourself. If you understand leadership to be about influence and impact, you would also know that you don't need somebody to call you or to confer a certain position or title on you. You would understand that right from the back, whatever corner you find yourself in, that you can already be making that difference and impact as a leader without needing somebody to give you some title or to say go before you start going. So this for me is my motivation. Leadership should be a lifestyle where we learn, we grow, our lives get better, and we influence others so that the quality of their own lives become better. And we are creating a chain, multiplying the numbers of people whose quality of life is improving. And together we are creating a better world. This is how I see it. And for my motivation, I don't need permission from anyone to lead.
Thank you so much. Leadership should be a lifestyle of multiplying and benefiting others and impacting the world and making the world a better place. Sarah, what's your take on that?
On what?
I don't think in your part of the world people are fighting. I don't think in your part of the world people are fighting to be leaders. Why should anybody be a leader? What should be the purpose and the motivation for people to lead?
Like I said, we are all leaders. We have this potential in us, right? So you have the position already. Why would you fight for it when you already have it? Okay, that is my take, in the sense that if you have it, you can lead from anywhere. And as Doris rightly said, all of us have different channels or different areas depending on our giftings and our strengths that we can lead. Right now on this platform, I am a coach, executive coach, and a trainer. You are a lawyer by profession. You are leading in the legal area. Doris is in finance. That is where her strength is. Doctor is a preacher, man of God, as well as in the health. So all of us in the areas of our strength, where we do have impact, where we can really be able to contribute to the highest potential that we have. That is where we need to focus. I am not going to say I'm going to be like Doris because she is strong in finance. I am not strong in finance. So staying in my lane, making sure that I serve to the highest level of my strengths, for me, is teaching, coaching, and really facilitating. So this is where I'll stay. However, when people do start really craving for the position, it means they don't know themselves. They are not self-aware. And that is the first level for them to really know who they are, what their strengths are, and how they can contribute. So for me, my way of working with people is to really hone in on their strengths and making them self-aware to know that, hey, already you are a leader, but please lead from your area of strength.
Wonderful. I thank you both for those useful insights. And guys, I hope you're learning. You can put your learnings in the chat. You can, if you have any questions for them, please put it in the chat. Continue to share because this is amazing discussion. We never have so much knowledge around the table like this before on this platform. So I'm so excited to have them. Doc, what is your own perspective on this subject of why people should lead and when our people are fighting, spending so much money just to get a position and just to bring the nation and so on? what is going wrong with us?
Well, let's start with what is right, which is, which is the fact that, and that Sarah's made allusion to that, Doris as well, that being human and being here itself is a call to lead. That is why we were created. We were born to lead. And that is why the conference we organize is called LIVE2LEAD. We live to lead. That's our calling, right? God said, let me make human beings in my image and likeness, because God himself is a leader, right? And so that they may take care of the earth. And it seems to me that that is the missing link. And that is why I insist that leadership must be taught. Because how many people understand that you were born to lead? Like Sarah said, you were born to lead in certain unique ways God has shaped you for, looking at your giftings and your passions and your life story and all of that. But you were born shaped to lead not only in a particular way, but to do this through service, as Doris said. In fact, one of my, I don't want to start a war, but those of us who went to Achimota School, anybody who went to Achimota School will tell you that one of the key lines in our school hymn is born but to rule through service given. We rule through service. So that misunderstanding that leadership is about serving people is what is leading to this, for people falling over themselves, wanting positions not to serve people, but to satisfy their egos, amass wealth, have control and power, make a name for themselves. All these are not the purposes of leadership. In fact, sometimes it goes to the extent that instead of bringing power, if you understand that leadership means, leadership gives you authority, gives you power, you bring that power behind people to push people. You bring that power under people to empower them, to lift them up. But when people don't understand that is the purpose of leadership and the power and authority of leadership, what do they do with the power? Rather, suppress people and lord it over people. So obviously, a clear misunderstanding. No, think about it. I doubt that people are fighting to be leaders because they are so broken by the state of the economy, by the plight of our people, that they are like, I want to give my life. Oh, I want to, please give me the opportunity. I want to give my life to serve you. No. In fact, leadership can be so tough, can be so difficult, that I doubt that if people understood what it is, they'll be falling over each other and competing and fighting to have this. So obviously, the understanding of leadership is defective. And again, that is why we need programs like LIVE2LEAD to remind us of our purpose. All of us can forget along the way. All right. And we have, and sometimes we need models. And so we bring all these high quality speakers, John himself, and we, later on we'll talk about other people that we are bringing this year. We brought other years to not only speak, but also to show us how they are serving people. We're born to lead through service. The other thing I'll say is that, again, people don't realize that leadership fundamentally is more about a function than a position. You don't need a position to be a leader. A position can help, but there are many people who are impacting Ghana, transforming societies, touching the world, who don't have a post. Think about it.
Mhm.
Many of us in this country follow Jesus Christ, 71% of Ghana. Now tell me, what was his post? What was Jesus' leadership post? He wasn't part of the Sanhedrin. He wasn't chief rabbi. He wasn't Pharisee in chief. He had no position. But did he have power? Did he have authority? Did he make influence? You bet. And 2,000 years later, we are still talking about it. 2.3 billion people in the world have been influenced by him to follow without a position. So we need to go back to that understanding that if you get a position, it's a wonderful platform and opportunity to serve. But even without a position, leadership fundamentally is someone getting a vision from God. It is someone seeing the plight of your people and being moved to do something about it. That is the essence of leadership.
Good. Thank you so very much. Those are powerful insights into the subject of leadership. And guys who are joining us, who are just joining us, around the table, we have the John Maxwell certified coaches in Ghana who have joined hands together to bring us Live to Lead. And this is the 7th year that we are bringing Live to Lead to you in Ghana. And the date is on October 6th. We have only 1 week away. So if you haven't bought your ticket, you haven't registered, please register quickly. And they are here to tell us the story of leadership, why they are committing themselves to this, why should people be leading, and why you need to learn about leadership. And those are the lessons we are trying to decipher here. Now, Doc, let me continue with you. This year, Live to Lead, the theme we've chosen is leading for legacy. Now, you and I, when we're brainstorming and finding what should we be focusing on this year, this was a subject that actually came. I think you were even probably the one who proposed it, and we all said, yeah, let's go with this. And we see how in time we come to look at some of the subjects that even the international speakers will be addressing and how it's related. But why is this relevant? Why is the subject of legacy important for us to think about and to be discussing?
Well, thank you so much for that discussion we had. And I think every year I felt it's been very enriching. The thought process we go through, looking at the string of leadership topics, but also the context we are in, and then saying, this would be the best thing to address. So last year we looked at integrity, right?
Yes.
And hope, because we're looking at what was going on in the country, and legacy, because every one of us will be remembered for something. That is legacy. But unfortunately, in our Ghanaian context right now, it seems like too many of us are short-sighted. We are thinking about what we eat and drink and wear and drive today, to the extent that we are even damaging our forests, our river bodies, our water bodies, to get some galamsey, to get some gold today, because we're not thinking about legacy. Legacy is, how will I be remembered, and what will I leave for the people? What will I leave behind? A wise man once said that the only thing, when a man dies, and yesterday I was at a funeral in Winneba, when a man dies, when a person dies, the only thing that walks back from the grave back into town is their reputation, is their legacy. And I really believe that when we think of legacy, we live and lead differently.
Absolutely.
When we think about what will be said at my funeral, when we think about what will be written on my tombstone, it makes us live and lead differently. And so with what is going on in our country, in the political realm, environmentally, what's going on with our banking and finance sector and all of that. We sing songs, patriotic songs about our forefathers, Yenara Sasini Eya Bodin Ding Maya Mojana Nananum Shegui near the Tuhomai. That's the legacy they left for us. They shed their blood. We remember it by the red, and red is the most common color in all flags around the world, because many nations are tied together, are formed by blood and sweat and tears of others. So we remember our forebears for that. But what will we be remembered for? And so one of the things we talk about leadership is beginning with the end in mind. And people like Stephen Covey made it very popular. And so if you begin with the end, which is legacy in mind, how then does it affect how you live daily, how you relate to people weekly, how you spend money, how you treat resources? And that is why we are bringing this to the fore. Let me say also that, and some of you may know this already, but everybody knows about the Nobel Prize, for example. There's a Nobel Prize for peace and chemistry and literature and all of that. But what people do not know, most people do not know, is that Nobel himself did not start out as noble as we think today. We think about the Nobel Prize and we think about, oh yes, for people who are making an impact, who are leaving a legacy in chemistry or physics or whatever. But he was one of those few people who had the opportunity to read his own obituary. So what happened was that in 1864, there was a lab explosion. He used to work with nitroglycerin, what is used for dynamites, explosives. And when there was a lab accident, 4 people died, plus his brother Emil. And the newspapers thought that it was Nobel who had died, and they wrote horribly about him. They said, this man, wicked man. This is the guy who has taught the world how to kill the most people in so little time, with the dynamites and this and that. He literally read what was said about him, assuming he was gone. And he said, no way. This is not how I want to be remembered. And so one of the things he did was to institute the Nobel Prize. And now when we think of Nobel, we are not even thinking about dynamites. We're not thinking even about explosives. We are thinking about these prizes. Ladies and gentlemen, I pray that we begin to move away from our short-sightedness about what we drink today. What we eat today will be, excuse me to say, it will be the septic tank tomorrow. How many clothes can you wear? How many cars can you drive? But if you remember the end in mind, it makes you live differently. Even Jesus, it was said about him that who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning his shame. He looked at the legacy he was going to leave. He looked at the plight of his people. And today, 2.3 billion people later, that is how we remember him. And that's why we've chosen this theme.
Thank you.
Ghanaians got to think about
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc. Sarah, what do you want to add?
Doc has spoken at length on this. The only thing I would love to add is just maybe even looking at my own life, the turning point, as Doc has rightly said. Let's all look at events in our lives. What are the turning points? For myself, here was I about almost 3 years ago on my deathbed. And what I asked myself, what legacy am I leaving? When I die, am I going to leave debts? I was even just thinking about my family. I had few debts that were pending. I said, hey, if I'm to go home today, I'm just leaving debt. So with the end in mind, I came back and I cleared all my debt. Came back, okay, now I've cleared the debt. What is next? How can I add value to other people? So invest in young entrepreneurs. So that is what set me on this path. So definitely, legacy is really important. Don't wait like me to be on your deathbed before you turn your life around. Do it now. And we have lots of people who have done exactly that, who are coming to speak to us with their lives, They've been able to look at the end. When I die today, what are people going to say about me? What is the legacy that I'm leaving? How are they going to honor me? It's not just honor me, but what is the value that I've added to their lives that will be the legacy that I'm leaving? So, for example, when we look at most of the speakers who are coming to speak to us, I'll just take, for example, Kendall Scott. She started just to look at herself and to care for her family, build a business. Once the business was on its feet, yes, there were failures and whatever, but once the business was on its feet, she just left that. Now she's a philanthropist, adding value to people in her community, in her universities. I mean, so many good things to make sure that when she's gone, this is the legacy, the impact that she's had on her community and in her country. So legacy, that is why we have chosen this for this year's Live to Lead. And I believe most of us will be listening to the speakers, learn from them because this is really a master class. You can take years when you go to university to study, 2 or 3 years for you to get this information. However, in half a day, you accelerate your learning path and curve from learning from all these people. If you are to really get one of them, you're going to pay thousands of dollars. And here you are with just a little bit of investment, you get this whole ray of knowledge in just half a day, which can propel you to really think about what you can do for your family, for your community, for your organization, and for your nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, so much. And indeed, I remember one of our colleagues had to bring John Maxwell to Ghana at a point. He spent as much as over $100,000 just to bring John Maxwell. And I think he spoke to us for less than 45 minutes and so much money invested. To get John Maxwell to speak to you for 45 minutes is a lot of cash you have to pay. But on the 6th of October, next Friday, we will have John Maxwell. He'll be talking to us around change the world, that each of us have the change the world spirit word in us. Each of us can change, make a difference in the world. We'll have Ryan Leake, who is going to address, as you're trying to create an impact, there may be challenges, there may be failures, and he calls it chasing failure. How do you turn failures around so that you can be remembered? Doc just talked about the Nobel Prize. I mean, somebody who fortunately was able to read that when I die, this is what they're going to say about me. So he has an opportunity to say, I won't die like that anymore. I will die a different death. Sometimes you fail in certain areas, but then you can turn around. We have Kendra Scott, and Sarah has talked briefly about her amazing story in creating business, empires. Buckingham has spoken at Live2Lead before, and his latest research work is around love and work. How the latest thinking about work and love, and how we can impact people's lives through love. But we also have from Ghana people that we believe represent the theme. And we will have Professor Frimpong Boateng. He's going to tell us his life story and how he's been able to make impact in the medical world, not only in Ghana, but across the world. And everybody remembers what he did in Kolebu and others. We also have Andrew Stechi, who has developed fintech business across 29 countries just from Ghana and actually beyond. He's almost in every continent. And he's a young person creating this. And when I spoke to him, he says he wants to make sure that in Africa we can have businesses that people can say African businesses can also cross the world. It's not just UK businesses, American businesses just coming to Africa, but we can also. And we'll have Ohineyere Gifty Auntie, who would also talk to us about her exploits in the media and the impact she's made. and more importantly, on the social work and advocacy for women and underprivileged people. I mean, earlier, all our speakers here have talked about leadership as service and impact and helping others. And Gifty would talk about some of those things. So as I continue to Doris, I mean, as you share also on the theme, what are your expectations from these speakers? What are you looking to hear that other people should be looking out for from these speakers and any of them? I think you are muted or something. Yeah. It's, you're talking, but we are not hearing you. Is it only me who don't hear?
No,
Doris,
Doris, we can hear you.
Doris, we can hear you somehow. It's something is going on. Kofi, check and let's see. But guys, I told you that we're going to have another beautiful, smart lady, and she's joined us here. I have Emmalin Dati, who has just joined us. And Emmalin, you've been working closely with me, try to bring this program up. Now, tell us, what is your expectation from any of these speakers? I know that recently you had an event with Ohineyere, for example, and so on. What are your expectations, and what will you tell people about these people and why they should be at Live to Lead?
Good evening to everyone. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, if I'm actually at an event that she just spoke again, it's almost like as if I'm stalling Gifty Auntie everywhere, and she just caused the storm as she always does at every event she goes to. And I remember when we as coaches were trying to decide on the speakers in Ghana that would represent the Ghanaian session. It wasn't difficult to agree on Gifty Auntie, for example. We all know that in Ghana, when it comes to the media space, she is the leading force. She has set the pace by being an exemplary leader in the media industry. She's somebody who does not believe in pleasing people, and that's one thing about leadership that Africans need to learn. A certain speaker, or should I say, thought leader, said, "If you want to make people happy, go sell ice cream." You know, leadership is all about making the difficult decisions. If you want to create a legacy, you need to make a difficult decision. I can't imagine what Coach Sarah went through to decide that she was going to be debt free, and that is what you need to be assertive, and that's what Gifty Auntie represents. She has celebrated 15 years of her own program in a country where it's difficult to stand on your own. She has set the pace, changing people's lives, connected to the questions you asked Dr. Pebi, why people want to be leaders. She's an example. She's using her platform, her life, her voice to change lives of people. And that is what John Maxwell represents. I, for one, am a living testimony of John Maxwell's impact in my life, because everything he does about transformational leadership, it speaks to my heart. I, for one, I joined this project because I'm also somebody who's passionate about using my resources, my voice, my talent to make somebody's life better, to make complex issues become less complex for people, so that they too can know that they can also create a lasting legacy, of which we know in Africa, legacy issues are a lot. We have a lot of people who do not think beyond the now, and then this theme is supposed to encourage people to look beyond today. When you're not here anymore, what is happening after you are gone? And that is exactly what I'm expecting to hear from Auntie Andrew Stichi, somebody I also know personally. His journey has been so organic. He's believed in the African dream when it comes to financial inclusion, and using innovative ways to reach out to Ghanaians to make sure that you are financially literate and empowered. And now he's all over more than how many countries in Africa. For every time I have a discussion with him, he's always people oriented. As much as he's oriented, he's like, Emily, the people come first. I want to give people opportunities through ZPay to change the world. I mean, these are things you're going to hear their success stories. You're going to hear their journeys. They're before, the now, and the beyond. And I'm so looking forward to Live to Lead 2023.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Emmeline. Now I think we can hear Doris. Auntie Doris, you were trying to say something and we're trying to listen and we're not hearing you. Uh-oh. There is something happening. And
Internet
Kofi,
is breaking. It's breaking.
we're
Lady
not
Doris, you
hearing
may have
her.
to adjust yourself. She just adjust herself so that the internet can probably she just has to adjust herself.
No, she actually went off and came back, but we still cannot
Yeah.
hear her.
The internet
Anyway,
is messing her
we'll,
up.
we'll try again. We're sorry about this internet. The good things we want to hear from Doris, somebody doesn't want us to hear. Hey, get out of the way. She'll come back. We'll hear it. All right, Sarah, what are you expecting from any of these leaders?
What I'm expecting is looking at each of them. Each of them has a framework, and for me, what I'm seeing is that there is no one right way
Mm-hmm.
for us to succeed. Everybody can succeed. And therefore, how do we change our world with the different frameworks that are coming to us? Looking at Kendall is quite different. Looking at Gifty is Ohinyeri Gifty. Sorry, I'm calling her just Gifty. Ohinyeri Gifty. Looking at her, the way her path has risen and the difficulties, the challenges that she went through. What can I learn from it in my own journey and for the mentees that I am mentoring? Looking at this young man, Tichi, I can call him a young man because of my age, right? looking looking at him, how can I use that as a role model for the young people that I am really walking alongside with? And therefore, for me, that generation, that diversity that he is going to bring because of his age really helps me with a younger generation of people that I'm working with. So I'm learning despite my age. Yes, I'm the oldest on the platform. I testify to
It
that.
doesn't look like that, too. We don't
Yeah.
see it.
Looking at that, I mean, I can learn from any age group, right? And that is what you don't stop learning when you are even old. You can learn. That is cross mentoring. So that is what I'm really looking for. And of course, I'm looking to John as he teaches us how we can change our world personally, organizationally, and also nationwide and even the world globally. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, we'll listen to Doc and we'll just have a short break and come back to the audience and see if people have questions. Please, so far, you've heard these amazing, amazing, amazing leaders share their motivation to lead. They share why we should be leaders. They've shared insightful lessons about the theme and why, as a country and as a nation, we need to think about legacy and individuals. Doc, you've looked at all these speakers, and amazingly, you've been chronicling. I've seen your Facebook posts, the way you are able to write about each of these speakers. It's wonderful. So, share with our audience, what should they expect from these people?
Wow, I must say that our audience and our patrons, those who are going to patronize Live to Lead, are in for a treat. John Maxwell every year carefully chooses who to be on board, and others have already talked about the various lives and their legacies they've lived and how we can learn from that. And John himself is a prime example of that. All of us here actually part of his legacy. That he's left. And think about it, he hasn't clamored for political position. He did not run for governor or president of the United States. He probably would do a much better job than Trump and Biden combined, but he knows what his calling is and he's led in that, and here we are as evidence of that. I want to speak particularly about the Ghanaians that we brought on board to talk about legacy. And I am particularly really looking forward to reconnecting with my professor. Professor Frimpong Boateng taught me in medical school. And a lot of people do not know that he actually is the first Black person to do a heart transplant in the world, you know. And so, and of course, set up the National Cardiothoracic Center. If you've never read his book, Deep Down My Heart, you should read it. And you'll see how, you know, others did not see legacy at the time when he was seeing legacy. There are people who told him that, look, if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't put it into setting up a heart center. I'll use it to clear the rubbish in Accra. Yes. So we will have challenges when God gives us a vision and when we are moving towards lives of legacy. But how do you go through all of that? There was a time, I mean, he literally drew out the cardio center. He actually was driving a forklift to be able to carry things to get that thing done. I'm hoping all of you will be really inspired by his life. And we are actually going to frankly talk about his foray into politics as well, because I really believe that nearly tarnished his legacy. And so I hope that he's going to share with us, you know, how do we protect our legacy? Because it's a long way. It's a long way from here to whenever we're going to die, God willing. And any of us can mess up along that way. And so it'll be great to learn some wisdom from him, you know, when it comes to protecting our legacy. So he's the one I'm most excited about. Of course, I'm excited about Gifty as well, and Andy. But I guess by medical bias, I'm really looking forward.
We can understand that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much. Kofi and Richmond, let's just take a short break and then let's show people what's going to happen, and then we'll come back to our audience. Please, if you have a question, if you have a comment, and these people are here, get ready and ask your questions. All right, Richmond, let's have.
Nobody ever thought their way to success. Nobody ever hoped their way to success. Nobody ever wrote goals on a planner to success. They acted. Action is what attracts. It's the action. It's the movement. Every person has a change the world speech inside of them. It's inside of you. Every one of you have a message. Every one of you have a dream. And my hope is that today you'll begin to express that dream better than you ever have, because people need to hear your story. People need to see your vision. And when you learn to communicate, you pass it on to others, and you help so many people make a difference in the world. So let your dream come out and learn how to communicate it with excellence. Thank you very much. My name is John. I'm your friend. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Richmond. And if you haven't registered for Live to Lead, remember that it's only a week away. It's just Friday, actually less than 7 days. So please don't wait and regret. A lot of people are already registering. This year, we're going to have a hybrid. So you have the option to join virtually only if you don't have the opportunity to be present. But you also have the option to be present and to meet at least the local leaders and other business leaders and other leaders who would be gathered at the EcoBank Ghana head office building on that Friday, the 6th of October. So please give us a shout. If you are working for any organization, please give us a shout to your HR and tell them several companies are registering. We have some banks that have registered 45 people, some have registered 30 people, some have registered 25 people, 15 people. Different organizations are registering for their people. So please call your HR and let them get people onto LIVE2LEAD. It is an amazing gathering of leaders and you will not regret it. So let me see who we have again. William is still there. He's not gone. William Darfur from Tema, thank you so much. Let's see if you have questions or comments. We would appreciate so that as our host, Ghana host, would address them. David is still here. Ewuntoma, he says, good evening. Great to join from where? Is this Savia? Where is Savia? Or Sarah? Hey, this one, I forgot. I don't know. Okay, Anna Junior Agbe is here. He's joining from Pokrom in Sabah. Today I'm in trouble with the towns all over the place. David Ahe is here from Sakumono. That one I can pronounce easily. Bismarck Awalenga is here. He says, hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Uncle Sam, for the consistency in sharing your nuggets. Thank you so much, Bismarck, for joining. I have Apia Agbogla Docas is here, says hello, and he is joining also from Geneva. Oh, so Sarah, you should know her.
That's Dorcas. That's Dorcas.
Oh, that's Dorcas. Oh, good. Dorcas, how are you? Hello. Okay. Emmanuel there is here. He says, thank you for the insightful masterpiece. And this one just has strategic engagement. Okay. Greetings. I'm happy to join again. All right. Thank you. Let's have your name. And you're joining from Uganda. Thank you so much. I have Ponsa Kwame Jonas, and he says, powerful message from Dr. Pebby. Felix Agoma, he says, great message, Dr. Regina Ohi is here from the university, from Heritage University. And Heritage is one of our key patrons, partners who are bringing a lot of their lecturers on board. Livingston says legacy. Emmanuel Chunebua joining from Cape Coast. Inusa Ajayi from Cotonou. Bonsoir, mon ami, mon frère. Thank you for joining. And I heard Emmanuel said, I heard Jack Moore talked about is it a word of love? The Q of love. Okay. George Assan is here. He says, great. I have Alfred. Good evening. Great to hear. Great to be here from Koforidia. Okay. All right. There's no questions here for now. So Kwame Amponsan is from Awoshi. All right. And if you have any questions or comments, our speakers will be ready. Let's see if Doris, we can hear you now. Hello, Doris.
Hello, can you hear me
Oh,
now?
that beautiful voice is back. Thank you so much. We're just trying to get your perspective. What do you expect our audience now and people who are thinking this LIVE2LEAD, what is it? Or what? And with the speakers we have, what should they expect from these speakers?
Okay, so it was a bit choppy. If I heard you correctly, what should our audience expect come October 6th?
Yes, from our speakers.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so I think that they should position like the way I have positioned. They should expect an encounter that is mind-blowing and transformational at the same time. Every year I've sat in LIVE2LEAD every time, especially I've listened to John C. Maxwell, I take copious amounts of notes and I come back and my life is not the same. So that is the expectation that I want everybody to have. I want you to come with an open mind, ready to absorb, ready to soak all that our speakers have for you. And one thing that I doubt you'd be able to do is to leave.
Oh,
All right. Yes. The internet is playing games, but we will get her back. No problem. All right. So let me go around a bit again because I think we have about 15 minutes. And so, and I'm not seeing any questions anymore. I see Bennett Edet from Banjul, the Gambia. Thank you so much, Bennett, for joining. All right. So we have everybody from Africa around the table. And so we will go to we'll go to Sarah. You've shared, I mean, these speakers have shared quite a bit already. Those of you who joined early, I see Benjamin says, I missed the teachings today. There's been a lot of teachings, a lot of insights on leadership and why people should lead and things like that, and the importance of legacy. There's so much. So we'll share the recording, so don't worry. But let me take Sarah's closing remarks. Sarah, what will you say to our audience about October 6th?
October 6th is waiting for you anxiously. You've got lots of good nuggets that are going to come out. So if you haven't registered, I can just encourage you to do so. Even if you have to just copy in my mentor, what do you call it, Paul Martinelli, if you have to sell your car and come, sell your car and come.
Fortunately, you don't need to sell your car. It's just only 2,000.
2,000.
It's only 2,000. Get 2,000 and come, or get someone to sponsor you. And what you're going to gain is going to be even triple, or I mean, you can quadruple it. So please make it a point, set the intention to be there, and you can even draw people, attract people to pay for you to come. Set the intention, even if you don't have the money, and someone will definitely be willing to sponsor you to come, or the money will come to you. So don't
Thank
say
you
I
so
don't have the
much.
money, but please
On
do
that
that.
note of the law of attraction, just set the intention, believe it, and it will come. Now, the internet is trying to play games, but we will not allow it. Doris will come back to you. You are sharing some things. Complete it, and then
Yes.
your closing remarks and appeal to the audience.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So what I would say is that come ready to soak. And I said that I doubt anybody will attend Live to Lead and your life will be the same, or that you will fail to take some intentional actions. You come and you are renewed in your mindset, you are renewed as a person, and you just can't be still. You would have no other choice than to take those actions that will start creating the impact, that will start pushing you closer to those aspirations that you've always had. Like Sarah, I would say that do whatever it means that is legitimate in order to be present if you haven't already registered. It is an investment that is worth a lot more than what you are going to actually invest. So these would be my closing comments, that don't miss it. Don't miss Live to Lead for anything. It's under 1,000 for virtual participants. And if you happen to enroll as a virtual participant, please don't just dial in and walk about. Be present. Be present so that you can get the value that we have in store for you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And I'll go to Emmeline. They say the ladies first. I'll finish with the ladies and I'll come to my brother. Emmeline, what will be your final call?
So I'd like to re-echo what my colleagues have said. Live to Lead is an event you cannot miss. It's a life-changing experience. whatever your profession is. It's a wonderful leadership development program for you. It's an international program that will change your life. The money is an investment. $950 for virtual, $2,000 for in person. It's something that will change your life. You will see the results of it. So please tell a friend to tell a friend. You don't want to miss out. This is something you want to be part of. I'm looking forward to hosting you. I'm also acting as an MC that day too. I'm looking forward to be your host on that day as well. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Malin. Doc, your final words of encouragement for us. It looks like Doc's internet is frozen at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems so too.
Okay. Doc is frozen, but I'm sure we will get him back. Okay. As we get him, let me take a few final comments. Emmanuel there says, thank you very much for for the lessons learned, knowledge shared, and time spent in putting this masterpiece together. I'm very grateful to God for the opportunity to partake in this. I'm Emmanuel there, a 19-year-old social media manager, business development and sustenance executive in Ghana. I am enthusiastic about leadership and would love to connect with all of you so I can build on my leadership skills. Thank you so much. Emmanuel, this is great. And just connect with us. You can take my number and I think you've won yourself a ticket to Live to Lead. This one, I have underwritten it for 19-year-old who is connecting and is so excited about leadership. Emmanuel, you have a free ticket to Live to Lead. So connect, go to the links and just give me a call. All right. Okay. Doc is still frozen. I think he's not even aware that he's frozen. And so
he would probably is trying to work on it. Once you are frozen, it means your internet is
yes.
Yeah.
So
yes, the internet is playing games. All right. So
so you can put him in the back
we
and when he comes live.
Live to Lead here. This will be our 7th year. This is the 10th edition of Live to Lead. I hosted Live to Lead twice in Lome. We used to do it in bilingual before I came. So for the 9 out of the 7, out of the 10, I've hosted Live to Lead. And this is because I believe this is opportunity for everybody to just be energized, be inspired, to just change your thinking. Because since I started connecting with John Maxwell, it's been different. My life is changed and my perspective about how to serve has changed. So I want to encourage all of you. I don't know if Kofi, you're able to call, or Richmond, you're able to call Doc, but if not, I just want to encourage all of you. There are so many people registering companies, registering churches, are encouraged to register for their leaders, to join organizations, associations. Bring your leadership to Live to Lead. And the power of all the leaders around the table pouring into your heart and sharing their lessons and experience is immeasurable. So on that note, I just want to thank all of you for connecting. And we are going to still be here for a few more minutes. So, but if you feel like you want to go, this is the time you can call it off. But we are going to be here. We are friends. We're going to try to discuss a few things around here. So have a good night. God be with you. Tomorrow is Sunday. Find opportunity to serve God, to worship with fellow Christians, and to serve your God. Have a good night. All right.
Good night.
Richmond.
Bye.
Don't go, guys. Don't go, guys. Just stay for 2 minutes.
Nobody ever thought their way to success. Nobody ever hoped their way to success. Nobody ever wrote goals on a planner to success. They acted. Action is what attracts. It's the action. It's the movement. Nobody ever thought their way to success. Nobody ever hoped their way to success. Nobody ever wrote goals on a planner to success. They acted. Action is what attracts. It's the action. It's the movement. Every person has a change the world speech inside of them. It's inside of you. Every one of you have a message. Every one of you have a dream. And my hope is that today you'll begin to express that dream better than you ever have, because people need to hear your story. People need to see your vision. And when you learn to communicate, you pass it on to others, and you help so many people make a difference in the world. So let your dream come out and learn how to communicate it with excellence. Thank you very much. My name is John. I'm your friend. Thank you.